Welcome everyone. We are about to test the new Thors. There are some changes that are being made to the Thor, and from what I can remember from the top of my head, they're reducing the attack, or I guess buffing the attack speed so the Thor attacks faster, making it more of a microable unit. So it's not going to be this clunky little or huge machine. It's going to be more mobile. So I wanted to test it, how exactly that goes. I guess no good. Oh, I guess good luck, have fun, even though we're just goofing around. So this is not going to be a real game because this change that they're making, I think, only impacts anti-air. So there's no point to have like a real game because you need to find someone for custom games. So what we've done is I found Ager to play against me, and I just told him, like, just make 10 Phoenix, 10 Void Rays, 10 Carriers, and you know, I'll make some Thors and we'll test it out. Because testing this in a real quote-unquote game would be very weird, because I would need to like basically play a bunch of games and hope it reaches the point where there's air units, and then I make the Thors, and you know, that could take a while. So we decided to have a scripted game because I wanted to see this change in, you know, in an actual game, and see how it plays out regarding how it trades, how much more microable it is, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan. I'm gonna just get fast 3 base so that I can pump out econ. I'll just go like 5 factory Thor to make sure I have enough of them. So yeah, I don't think I'll be testing this against every single race. Match fixing, that's right.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
I don't think I'll be testing this against every single race because it's more so just seeing how the unit works, how it is in actual games, you know, rather than is it going to be good against specific things. Because again, this kind of change in ability is very situational. Like, for example, if I tried it against Zerg, right? The only real change, I guess, would be against Broodlords. And even then, it's like you can make Ghosts, you can make Vikings, and stuff like that. So I think you'll probably see it the most in TVT and TVP, like this change have an effect. Obviously, it will be seen and used in TVZ as well, but you can't really micro too much in TVZ because of the Broodlings. While against Terran, against Liberators or Vikings or Battlecruisers or Void Ray Tempest Carrier, you can still, you know, micro your Thor around and stutter step and stuff like that. So yeah, Optinim, thanks so much for the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Do you have a theory on why Protoss doesn't have any match fixers? I mean, maybe they just haven't been caught. You know? But I don't know. I think in the past, the most match fix games in StarCraft 1 and 2 combined was Zerg players. I think. Because every time I think of match fixing, I remember the Brood War Zerg guy, and then obviously the one who we shall not name. That's a good point. Was there ever a Protoss match fixer? I actually can't think of any. Wait, is there any match fixers for Protoss? Can someone like Google this? I'm actually not really curious. You can't catch Protoss players throwing games because they don't win games in the first place.
What's going on?
That's big brain right there. Amazing. I like that. Or maybe, listen, maybe they're actively trying to throw games against Zerg, but they keep losing. Like, they try to throw games by winning them. You know what I mean? They're doing the opposite of throw. It's like the Zerg players sign up to match fix against Protoss, and the Zerg still wins. It's probably what happens. Let's be honest. I don't think I even have the money, by the way, to support all of this.
What's going on? SCV ready.
Our SCVs are under fire. Add-on complete.
He's killing my sneeze.
SCV-4 is here. SCV ready.
Wait,
Watch this.
is it me or are they moving? Wait, are they moving faster as well?
Right. All SCV ready.
Do they not look smoother in their movement speed?
I am here. Click me.
Wait, is their movement speed actually less faster, or are they just less clunky? Like they don't do like kind of movement?
Can do.
So send one Phoenix, please. So let me see something.
BMC, how else would you explain the crazy things he pulled off? I mean his opponents.
So this is like the normal. This is how it was. 214, the Javelin missiles. This is the change one. This attack.
Right.
Wait a minute. Wait, look at this.
Watch this.
Holy, look at this! It's like Goliath. What? Bruh. Wait, okay, let's test.
Command center.
Wait, wait. Send all your Phoenix together. Okay, let's say he's doing a Phoenix like run by.
Get me back into the.
Oh no, shit.
Okay, baby.
I used the wrong attack.
That's gonna require more gas.
Okay, I'll wait for them to regen.
I am here.
Start moving voids closer and make other ones in Oracle 2, please. Okay, so let's say these are the Phoenix, right? And he's trying to like run by. Like, look, you can micro them. Can you kite the void ray? Okay, I don't think you can. But you can stutter step with them now. Bruh. How much would be send 6 void rays?
Get me back into the fight.
Our supply is insufficient.
I am fixed. We got something. I hear you.
Energy's too low.
So 6 void rays should be equal cost to 5 Thors, right? 250, 150, and Thors are 300, 200.
Okay, baby. Right.
Well, I mean, hey.
Watch this.
Okay, yeah, they have +1. I think without +1 I would have won that.
I am here. Is here.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
Okay. Now, the biggest thing in this is obviously being able to micro them, right? Like being able to move them around and you know. Wait, so the damage says 30, but on the patch it says 25 plus 10 versus massive. On the patch notes that I'm reading. So which one is it? I'm reading the patch notes. It says 25 damage plus 10 versus massive. That's ground damage? Why is it not?
That mineral cluster.
Oh, I'm dumb. Never mind. Okay, never mind. I'm dumb. Never mind. Forget about it. That's how much I use Thors. Okay, so it's 25 and 35 versus massive. And it used to be, let me just double check this. It used to be, where is it? It used to be 40 plus 15 versus massive. So it got a 20 damage nerf flat and 5 versus massive. But it attacks almost twice as fast. Not quite, but almost twice as fast.
SCVs are under fire.
Now,
Upgrade complete.
fly over one oracle. Oh, he's on stream, so I can just talk. I'm curious, can you kill an oracle? Like, you can... I feel like with this in micro... another one. Let's see.
Can you imagine how
Look at
a
this.
diamond player feels when a random GM player say I don't know?
Like, dude, you can almost kill an oracle if it flies over your units. Or your one Thor. So obviously it's way more microable. That's what we know for sure. Now, send carriers. I take 5, 6. Like, look, you can literally stutter step. Look at this. You can't even shoot the interceptors. And then you can stutter step forward. That's actually pretty big. Thor sucks now? I'm pretty sure it's way better. Like, one of the Thor's biggest problems was its clunkiness. Like how clunky it is. Like you send it and he's just like... and then he shoots once. The DPS is the same? Yeah, the DPS might be the same if you auto-attack them, but again, it's a buff because they're more microable, which was one of the big things at a top level. That Thors are just, even though in theory they should trade well against most things, they just don't get to do what they're supposed to. Like now you can stutter step with Thors, which sounds crazy to even say, but you can literally do that. And you saw that versus carriers, I think if you do it well enough, you can avoid them so they don't launch at the interceptors.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
I don't know why I keep typing. He said he's in the stream, but whatever. Okay, I want to see how the fight will go.
Mineral field. Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
He can kill those. Actually, I get 3. Okay, so I want to see how it is with kiting and shooting. Like, can you actually do that? No, you can't get away from it. Look at this. You can't. Like, they're like... you can't get away from them. Holy shit. This is actually big. This is so interesting to me. Because I saw the changes, and obviously I was like, oh, this is great, you know, they're more microable. But you can literally stutter step Thors, which is crazy. Like, against Void Rays, it doesn't do anything. Right? Because the previous Thor and this one have same DPS, like someone mentioned in chat, but it's more microable. The thing is, against Void Rays, you can't do any micro. The Void Ray is faster than Thor, especially if they upgrade it. So you basically can't stutter step, because once the Void Ray connects, you can't kite it anymore. Like, that's it. So against Void Ray, it's literally this buff or change is irrelevant. But against carriers, you can actually stutter step back and not let them shoot interceptors. Plus, you can chase down both Tempests and carriers by stutter stepping and just like following them. Which is really cool, in my opinion. Really, really cool. And I think it's going to create for some interesting like late game plays. Because Protoss now, if they go... Like, mech obviously becomes way better. You know, like, one of the... Like, not issues, but I guess weaknesses of mech is if you focus on ground too much and they go air. You usually needed to get Vikings and battlecruisers against Tempests and carriers, because Thors would just eventually get clumped up, and again, they would be too clunky and just wouldn't work. But with this change, you can actually go with Thors and you can micro quite well against those units. And you can probably do really well, maybe even hold out till you get some air units. I'm not saying that these Thors will absolutely replace Vikings and carriers,
Exhausted a Vespene
but I think it makes it so that Thor can trade much, much better. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna need... That's the thing, you're gonna need Immortals if Thors come out, I feel like. I mean, you know, again, it's hard to say, because then there's gonna be charge lots, there's gonna be Archons and stuff like that, so it's not like you're just gonna walk under the Protoss air army and you're gonna kill everything, right? The Protoss is not gonna AFK. But in lower numbers, and also when it's like late game and you're both remaxing, Thors will be much, much, much more useful. And again, DPS stays the same, so that doesn't really change at all.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
Like, this is what I mean. That beginning of that fight was really bad for me. A lot of Thors didn't shoot. How much supply was that? So that was... Let's see how much total. Can they actually kill themselves at the same time? Nope. So Thor is 6 supply, so that was 7,426, right? Nice. So they like just straight up Thors beat Skytoss now. So this is same supply. So he said about 120, I had 126. I can guarantee you Thors would get absolutely demolished pre-patch, because you couldn't catch up. They would just kite you forever. Mech back in TVP. Well, I can say that they're way stronger now. Like, they're way stronger and way better. So Thors, this is a definite buff. Definitely gonna help Thors. Definitely gonna help Mech, most importantly. And I do think it creates for a lot more micro options for Terran, for Thors that were, you know, in the past pretty eh. Like, you know, the only time you would make Thors against Skytoss is like if you're caught off guard and you don't have starports up. So yeah. Now regarding TVT, let's discuss this a little bit. TVT, I can actually see some kind of builds pop up where you don't necessarily need to open starport with mech. You just go Thors for your anti-air. I already did playstyles like these before where I go Cyclones instead of starport. I still think Vikings will be used, but Thors are like actual, like even if you lose the Viking control, suddenly it's not as bad as before, because you can kind of like stutter step versus liberators. Like as they're stepping in to do the liberation zones, you can go in, snipe, and then run out kind of things. I don't think it will be huge there. It will be huge against battlecruisers, I think. I'm not sure the exact movement speed of battlecruiser versus Thor, but you might be able to kite battlecruisers. Might.
Mineral field depleted.
I feel like Thor should be faster, but I might be wrong about that. Now, the biggest impact is definitely TVP, I think, because of the way the units work against one another, like I mentioned earlier. Now, the last matchup is TVZ. So, the anti-air, this anti-air, is not changed. So it's still shooting exactly the same every 2 seconds. So versus Muta, nothing changes. Everything's the same. You're going to use this attack and that's it. But versus, I guess Corruptor Thor interaction doesn't really exist on its own. There's always Vikings or Liberators together. That's why they make Corruptors, right? Or Battlecruisers. But obviously it's going to help you stutter step to kill more Corruptors as they're running away. And versus Broodlords. Now, I personally don't think this will help much against Broodlords. For the simple fact of, let's say that this is a Broodlord, right? So if you try to attack it and then Broodlings come up, you're still gonna get stuck, right? Doesn't matter that you react faster, you're still gonna get stuck around Broodlings. Obviously, I'm not gonna say this is not a buff. It is, but it won't. That's kind of a cool animation, by the way. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to talk about next. It will help up against Broodlords, but the big changer is something that they're fixing that I don't even know if I mentioned. Broodlords are getting their range fixed. So, for those who don't know, right now Broodlord has 10 range, if I'm not correct. If I'm correct. Now, there's a trick where instead of just auto, like A moving with Broodlord, if you do like a A move, like let's say the unit's right here and your range is up to here, you can do a trick where you A move and instantly run back, and the Broodlord would actually get another extra range. So it will go up to 11 range. Now, if you target fire the unit with Broodlords, so if you stack your Broodlords in one spot and you target fire and move back, the Broodlord actually goes up to 13 range. And they're supposed to have 10. So Blizzard didn't put this in a balance change, they put it as bug fix. And obviously if it's a bug fix, it's not intended to be in the game. But they are fixing that. So this change, combined with the fact that Broodlords will have actual range they're supposed to, means that, as you guys see here, Thors have 11 range. So Thors are always going to hit Broodlords. Always, always, always. And that changes a lot. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure this has been in the game since Wings of Liberty. So, yeah. Because of that, Thor will have one range advantage, and they're going to be more microable. So now when you see Broodlords, we might not call them GG Lords anymore. We might have to retire that name. Because Thors will actually... look at this back. Thors might actually be decent. It's quite a good looking Thor, by the way. They might be decent against Broodlords. They might trade better. And, they will trade better. And this is what I like about this change. It's no longer, you got, Sky Protoss, or, you got Broodlord Corruptor against Mech. I guess it's, Terran lost because he doesn't have more Vikings than you do air. Now it changes to Thors trade better, so the other race, right, Zerg or Protoss, are going to have to get ground units, because Thors are terrible against ground units. So Thors are terrible against Immortals, for example. So you're going to have to mix in Immortals together with your Sky Protoss in order to be able to kill the the Thors. And as a Zerg, I mean, I guess you can always neural them, because that's what people have done in the past. But you can also do stuff like, I don't know, Hydra Roach if there's no tanks and stuff like that. So there's going to be more back and forth. Yeah, we might also start seeing Swarm Host and Broodlord versus Mech instead of just Broodlord, Corruptor, Infestor. Swarm Host might be a better option because you can use the Locust to kill the Thors, and then your Broodlords kill everything else. So, yeah. I mean, this is... Listen, if you're a Terran player... If you're a Terran player, this is a great change. Again, this is announcing the changes in the first set of changes they did, and it remained in the second one. They haven't adjusted it in any way, so I'm guessing this will go through. I'm very excited to see how the late game will play out. And I do think this will be, you know, a great help for mech players, but also bio players will be able to use this as well. If you guys remember, back in Wings, in HOTS, we used to play bio, Widowmine plus Thors. And that might be coming back because mutas are coming back in fashion as well. So you can deal with mutas, and if Zerg goes for Broodlords, you still have your Thors. So that's it. That's my opinion. Aegir, thank you so much for helping me test this. Look at our APM. We're peaking. Thank you so much for the game. Thank you for helping me test this. Again, I said this change is great, and I like the change, but I didn't actually realize how mobile Thors are right now. And at the end of the day, if they're too OP, where there's no counter, you know, you can always remove one range or something. But I don't think they will get nerfed because a lot of ground units countered them pretty hard. So what you'll have to do as a Protoss or Zerg, just mix in other units, right? Swarm Hosts, Neural with Infestors, Immortals, and stuff like that. So, good change. 10 out of 10. Let's go test some new things. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. We'll be testing pretty much every single unit that might be changed in a new patch. Nice.